In the heart of Jacksonville, Florida, a seemingly ordinary night in April 2016 unraveled into a chilling display of police misconduct. This video delves into the interrogation of Akinyemi Borisade, a rookie officer with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, whose actions on that night sparked outrage and ignited a debate about civil rights and police accountability.
Akinyemi Borisade.
Akinyemi Borisade? Okay. I know a lot has transpired tonight. You've probably been in contact with several members of your unit, sergeants, lieutenants, things of that nature. Do you understand what's been going on? You've been informed. I guess you spoke to internal affairs as well as your lieutenant. Well, you actually don't have a lieutenant, correct?
Lieutenant Hack Sunday.
Okay, Lieutenant Hack Sunday. He's your act.
April 27, 2016, was supposed to be a new beginning for Mayra Martinez. Eager to start her first day at Scores Bar, she arrived ready to work. However, her hopes were quickly shattered by a series of alarming events that would culminate in her wrongful arrest and mistreatment at the hands of law enforcement.
So you have the internal affairs that deals with policy and procedures, and we deal with any time laws may be violated. Okay? What I have to do, per our policy and procedures, due to the fact that this is a criminal investigation, I do have to advise you of your constitutional rights. You understand? Okay. You have any questions before we get started? All right. Have you ever been here before? This is the integrity office, okay?
The incident centered around a disturbance at the bar, which quickly escalated. Officer Akinyemi Borisade, along with other officers, responded to the call. What transpired next was captured, in part, by a Good Samaritan's dashcam, offering a stark contrast to the official police narrative.
Okay. What beat do you ride?
Off 2.
Okay. What shift?
Watch 3.
Watch 3. Do you ride with, like, do you got, we know you don't have partners, but do you have, like, a constant 35?
Not since I moved to Watch 3 now.
Where did you start at?
Watch 6.
Mm-hmm. How long you been on Watch 3?
This is my second motorcycle.
Gotcha. All right, the time.
The dashcam footage reveals a scene of escalating tension. Mayra Martinez, instead of being treated as a potential victim or witness, found herself the target of aggressive police action. The footage shows discrepancies between the office's actions and the official arrest report, raising serious questions about the use of force and the integrity of the police account.
You pronounce it Akinyemi?
A-K-I-N-Y-E-M-I.
A-K-I-N-Y-E-M-I.
M-I.
Okay. And Akinyemi?
Akinyemi.
Akinyemi. And Borisade, right?
Yes, sir.
Which is B-O-R-I-S.
A-D-E.
A-D-E. What's your date of birth?
August 26, 1989.
August 26 of 89. And that makes you how old?
26.
Okay. Watch 3. What color squad is that, blue or gold?
Gold.
Okay. So basically, let me just go over these with you. And I know it's something that you do on the streets every day, okay? So I'm not trying to treat you like you don't understand or you don't know, but it's just something that we have to do for our policy and procedures, okay? And it says you do have the following rights under the United States Constitution. You do not have to make a statement or say anything. Do you understand?
Jacksonville Fire and Rescue's response was severely hampered by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office (JSO). Upon arrival, JSO provided incomplete and misleading information. The EMT report reveals Officer Borisade only acknowledged striking the victim in the stomach, despite her being unconscious. He omitted any mention of head trauma. Crucially, EMTs repeatedly requested to transport her to the hospital, a request Officer Borisade, her assailant, was authorized to deny. This blatant abuse of power prevented her from receiving necessary medical attention, disregarding the EMT's professional advice and further compounding the officer's acts of battery.
It says you have the right to talk to us if you want to, or you have the right to talk to us through an attorney. You understand all these rights,
Yes, sir.
and you're good with it, and you're willing to give us a statement of what happened tonight.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sign right here, brother. So, Officer Borisade, what do you like to be called?
Yemi.
Yemi. All right, Yemi. And like I said, you can call me Ed or Ed Cayenne and Darren Green. Okay, so tonight while working, okay, and I'm not gonna really, I'm just gonna touch on the reasons you got called to come in contact with Mayra Martinez.
Yeah.
Give me real brief, a quick synopsis of how you got the call.
She dispatched myself and another officer to the
Who was the other officer?
Officer Vickery
Officer Vickery. Okay.
to the calling out was a drunk dispute between 2 and 63
Mm-hmm.
at Scores off of University Boulevard right by Phillips Highway.
Yes, sir.
So I get there first and we make contact and we talk to her first because she's outside first. So she's saying that they kicked her out and she doesn't have her belongings and whatnot. So I went in there to see if they had her belongings.
Okay.
And they did. So
And all right, so real quick, they kicked her off for what reason?
they said that today was her first day. And then she decided she wanted to quit. And then there was like, okay, you can leave.
The interrogation of Officer Borisade provides a chilling insight into the mindset of a rookie officer caught in a controversial situation. The deposition reveals a series of inconsistencies and evasive answers, highlighting the challenges of holding law enforcement accountable.
Not based off of that.
Okay.
Based off of, we informed her that the management of the establishment wanted her to leave. And like as far as like trespassing and
Yes, sir.
whatnot. And then we gave her numerous opportunity and chances to leave as far as verbal. And we just waited there for like, are you going to leave? Are you going to walk? Because you're intoxicated. You can call an Uber. You can do whatever.
Right. And she refused.
She refused. She just stood there and just kept like arguing, saying like, why are y'all messing with me? I'm not the one that did anything.
Totally understandable. So the probable cause you guys met, you felt, was for trespass after warning, I'm guessing,
Yes.
and public intoxication.
Yeah, disorderly.
Subsequently, she's arrested.
Yes, sir. But
Who arrested her, you or Officer Vickery?
that's the thing. We went to detain her, and she began to fight there.
Gotcha.
So we charged her with resisting with violence as well.
Gotcha.
Because she kicked at us and swung towards us as well.
Who was the primary officer on the call?
Officer Vickery was primary. I was acting as a backup.
You was 35.
Yes, sir.
So in your responsibilities as a 35, you were there to assist him. You
Mhm.
made the arrest
Yes, sir.
of what you would consider a drunken female who refused to leave the premises after she'd been warned. She was requested to leave after her supervisor asked her, and then after police warned her.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then she became a little bit violent and erratic. I noticed in the arrest report, I think you guys smelled the odor of alcohol coming from her mouth
Yes, sir.
during your communications with her. Was she, other than being intoxicated, did she appear to possibly could have been on drugs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What indications gave you that?
Just the overall behavior, the speech. Usually, when I come in interaction with people who are just intoxicated, it's just different.
Okay.
But you could tell she was just on something else.
Gotcha. So now you guys make the arrest and she begins kicking. You get her into the car. Do you guys apply the hobble?
Not right away.
Okay.
I get on the radio because we tried getting on the radio during the scuffle,
Yes, sir.
but everybody kept stepping over us and
Okay.
whatnot. But eventually we got her detained, got her in the car.
What car?
His car,
His
Officer
car.
Vickery.
Okay.
And then I got on the radio and I asked for the PIC to respond to the scene,
Okay.
which is Officer Gary. He responded, and I told him on the radio that we were gonna tar her because she was kicking the back window.
So
The narrative
communications
presented by
that's
the
gonna be
arrest
heard,
report and the reality captured by the
via
dashcam
via
diverge
radio is gonna be
significantly.
you calling
The report
for
paints a picture of a disruptive
PIC
individual
area,
resisting arrest,
you asking
justifying
for
the
permission
officer's
to
actions.
tar
However,
because she was
the
already
dashcam
hobbled,
footage
right?
tells a different story,
Oh, she wasn't
a
hobbled
story
at
of
all,
excessive
yeah.
force,
She was in the backseat.
potential
She was in the
racial
backseat
bias,
in the car.
and a disregard for
Handcuffed.
civil
You
rights.
said I think you said she was kicking.
Yes, she was kicking the back window.
Okay, which is what gave you the reason to want to tar her. Officer Garrett, does he respond to the scene?
He responds to the scene, and other officers show up as well. They decided it's best to just use the hobble, and we put the hobble on.
Who applied the hobble?
It was myself.
Okay.
And we put the hobble on, and it's like threaded through the door and whatnot.
Gotcha.
And then immediately we leave and take her to the jail.
So, I guess you decided to follow Officer Vickery to the jail?
Yes, sir.
Why?
It's protocol.
Okay.
It's when you're transporting someone that is already being placed in a tar or a hobble.
Got you. So you respond to the scene, you help him out, and then you apply the hobble on her in his vehicle. You follow him to the jail.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you guys pull into the Sally Port. What transpires there?
Goes to the side board. She sits in the back seat while he completes the docket. I did the narrative of the docket.
Why'd you do the narrative of the docket?
I used to work with DCF, and I'm pretty good with writing reports.
No problem. Okay. So he was doing the arrest report, and I guess you were doing the docket on what, like a Microsoft Word document?
Yes, I was doing it.
Okay, so you were giving him the narrative and then going to shoot it to him on email or something of that nature.
Yes, sir.
Cool. So that's going on. So you're actually not in the car communicating with Martinez at all during that point, correct?
No, sir, I'm not.
Okay. At some point, you shoot him your narrative?
Yes, sir.
And then what happened?
And then I give him the narrative, and then he put it in the report and sent it to my PIC, Officer Gary. He approves it, and from there we get all her property, and we put it on the floor near the door. And he says that he has to go on a robbery deployment, and he's like, "You don't mind just staying with her?" I was like, "Sure, that's fine. I have no issue with that."
Cool. So you guys get her out of it. Was there any struggle to get her out of the vehicle?
This incident is not just about one night or one officer. It raises broader questions about police training, the use of force, and the culture within law enforcement agencies. The case of Mayra Martinez serves as a stark reminder of the power dynamics that can exist between citizens and those sworn to protect them.
So you walk her out. Who gets her property out of his car?
He brings the property.
Okay. And then gives it to you, I'm guessing, tells you he has to leave for the robbery deployment.
Yes, sir.
He sends the docket and just waiting for approval.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, the docket was already approved prior to her getting out the car.
Okay. So now all she's doing is standing at the back door waiting for the door to open up. You guys to let her in, and I guess at that point you probably hand the purse to correction officer.
Yes, sir.
Fine. What happens?
From there, she just keeps being disorderly, irate, belligerent, yelling, saying, "I'm going to come after you, your family, you guys are all wrong, y'all arrested the wrong person," and basically what most people who have been arrested do.
Well, not most people do, but probably intoxicated people is what you're trying to say.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
there's other officers there that take note of her behavior as well. Like there's a homicide detective there. She's a whiskey foxtrot with short hair.
Detective Simpson.
Yes, sir. She was there, and she was saying like, "Geez, she's really like riled up." There was another guy from like CSX Rail Yard.
Okay.
Saying that her behavior was noticeable as well. From there, she just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. And then eventually she yells, she charges towards me, and that's when I put my hands like on her shoulders right here and got her back to the wall where the door is. And that's when the incident took place, as far as her kicking me and me responding.
All right, you say that. Let me ask you a question, because in your short time that you've been with the agency, how many intoxicated people have you dealt with? Would you say?
I can't put a number to it.
I'm just saying, how many times you think? Maybe 1 to 5, 5 to 10?
I would say numerous.
Okay.
I can't put a number to it, honestly.
Okay. So, You made multiple arrests for intoxication during your course of training and since you've been by yourself?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how do they act?
Belligerent, obscene. Like she was acting.
Okay. So, besides her verbalizing and being belligerent, like not listening to what you're saying, what else was she doing?
She kept crossing the line where, like, the officers stand, and so the line that separates, like, the soon-to-be prisoners and the officers. Basically, from what I've been taught, is that they're not supposed to cross that line because it's like officer safety. You don't want them getting too close to like other officers and whatnot. So I advised her to stop crossing the line and whatnot.
So you basically wanted her to stand by the door.
Yes, sir.
That line really and truly is an imaginary thing for law enforcement officers that go to the. There is no line that says a suspect can't walk around. We would like to keep control and command of them, right?
Yes, sir.
But there's that whole thing about that line is, and I'm gonna ask you, okay, because you recently came out of the academy, so you probably know these rules better than I do, okay? Is there anything in our policy and procedures that says they can't walk around while they're in there?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I've never seen anything that says a suspect can't walk, especially intoxicated ones, because you get some belligerent ones, okay? I've made a couple of arrests in my times, and you get people who are pissed off at you, the drunk ones, the ones that are on drugs and stuff like that, and they act I don't know this girl. I'm suspecting that if she probably hadn't ingested alcohol and or drugs, she probably wouldn't have acted this way. I don't know that for sure. But at a point in time, there is some limitations on what we can and can't do. You know what I'm saying? And the number one limitations that we have to follow is the fact that when they're in handcuffs, yes, you can, just like you said, she comes out, she passes what you would consider as an imaginary line, and you escort her back towards the door. Correct?
I don't know if I consider it an imaginary line. I mean, at what point, just because a person's in handcuffs doesn't mean they're not a threat, and they could be a harm to themselves. I mean, they're told to stand right there for a reason, I feel like, because they could be a harm to themselves by easily running out of the Sally Port and running into traffic, or running towards an officer and, like, bum rushing me like she probably intended to do.
Totally understandable. Were the bay doors down on both ends?
I can't recall.
Okay. So when you're saying a harm to herself, if she's a harm to herself, you're arresting her for a misdemeanor?
It was a felony charge.
It was a felony charge. Did you notify the back door that, she had self-harm issues?
No, I didn't say that she personally herself is a harm to herself. I'm saying people in general can be a harm to themselves as far as prisoners and walking around freely.
Right. But I'm just saying, let's just stay with the incident with Miss Martinez, because that's all we can talk about. Because yes, you may have a different experience at the back door than I've had, but a lot of that can't be taken into account right now because it's just your experience with Miss Martinez. Now, I would totally agree with you. She probably wasn't following your instructions. I would say that. What instructions did you give her?
To stand by the door and wait for her name to be called.
Okay. And
don't cross the line.
Okay. And her response was?
If you mean this line, and like touched it with her foot, and I was just like, okay. I didn't react then.
What is it about that line that pissed you off? Just that she wasn't.
It didn't piss me off.
Okay.
The line didn't piss me off. It's nothing. That didn't piss me off.
So did something get you angry?
No.
Okay.
I mean, she ran towards me. I didn't know what she was gonna do. She could have spit in my face. She could have bit me. Like she still had limbs and body parts that could have attacked me still.
In what way?
She could have bit me.
Okay.
She could have kicked me like she did. She could have shouldered me like with her shoulder off the curb that I was standing on.
Mm-hmm. And what does the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office policy and procedures state about suspects that are handcuffed? Are we allowed to strike them?
Yes, sir.
In what way? Because she was handcuffed, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did you strike her?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you strike her with an open hand or a closed fist?
Close fist.
Do you remember the amount of times you struck her?
I believe it was 3.
Okay. Where did you strike her at?
In the stomach.
Okay. Like I said, you recently came from the academy, so I'm thinking that you're a lot you're more well versed in that aspect of, active resistance and things of that, and use of force. We're in the academy that they allow us to punch suspects that are handcuffed.
I mean, at that point, she's physically and actively resisting.
Okay, if you're saying she tried to kick you, which is what you said, right?
She didn't try to, she did.
Okay, so she kicks you. And your response is you ball a fist up and you punch her 3 times in the stomach. What part of that falls under JSO protocol? I mean, we have takedown procedures, right? If she's using her legs. Would you agree with that? And Mr. Borisade, like I said, I can totally understand a reaction sometimes, okay? You're not a bad guy, okay? I think you're a good young officer. And I do believe she was intoxicated. I spoke with her and she admitted that. It's a possibility she ingested drugs. So I think with the duo of both alcohol and or drugs in her system, she probably wasn't thinking clearly. Okay, but at a certain point in time, Officer Borisade, we as law enforcement officers, we have protocols that we have to follow as well. And see, what happens is when we deal with intoxicated, mentally ill people of that nature, they'll do things to kind of, piss us off. But what we have to do is we have to remain above them. And you are absolutely right. She has no right whatsoever to kick you as a human being, first and foremost. Forget being a police officer. She does not have a right to kick you. Okay, but at that point, let me ask you this. If the situation happened again, same situation, is there a different way it could have been handled, would you say? Or would you have the same reaction?
It could have handled it differently.
What would you have done differently? Can we get some napkins, if you don't mind?
Yep.
What do you think you would have done differently? Hey, real quick, man. Look at me, Mr. Detective, trust me, I'm not judging you. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to belittle you. I'm not here to I'm not angry with you. I'm not upset with you or anything like that. I'm just saying, would you agree with me? Would you agree with me that they give us a big thing. And for you guys are a little bit different. You guys get everything on the computer now. But they give us, when I was coming out, they gave us multiple different books. You know, we get the general orders, we get the policy and procedures, we get the municipal ordinance, the field report manual of how we document reports and stuff like that. And there's a whole lot of information that basically, you know, we're bound by, as well as Florida state statutes, right? And within these documents, they tell us what we can and we can't do. They can't tell you how you can feel emotionally, okay? And I can tell you were upset, and you have a right to be upset. But within those books, they tell us, hey, if you have this situation happen, this is how far you can go. Or this is how your response should be. Now we put all the emotions and we put the alcohol and the drugs and everything, and you put that in a boiling pot of water, nothing good is going to come to the end of it. You understand? And you experiencing in your young career a situation like that, I can 100% guarantee you, most police officers have been there and done that. You know, we combined in here, we probably got close to 40 years of law enforcement experience. And I can't tell you the number of times we dealt with some people like Miss Martinez who probably acted totally out of character tonight. Because I can't believe that that female will go around and, you know, be belligerent, not following instructions and things of that nature. And like I said, nothing that she did tonight gives her a right to do what she did to you. But on the other hand, what we did, you know, in response to her, you know, emotions, do you think it was right, was wrong, could have been better handled?
I mean, it's just like either way, I feel like either way it would have looked bad because I'm a guy and she's a girl. Like if I would have took her down to the ground, she wouldn't have landed on her hand. She wouldn't have been able to catch herself. She would have landed on her face. And that would have looked really bad on camera, just like what I did looks bad on camera.
What do you think looked bad?
I guess the amount of times I hit her.
Okay. What you just said, male or female? If it was a male, would you have been justified doing what you did tonight? Because remember something, we don't put gender on suspects. We don't put race on suspects. We don't put religion on suspects. Suspects are suspects, and they come in all shapes, sizes, you know, young, old, male, female, and things of that nature. And what we got to understand is suspects' acts are sometimes unpredictable. Okay? But that's what makes us being held to a higher standard. Because no matter what the suspect do, the law enforcement officer have to respond in a certain manner. And the manner that we respond, we are bound by the policy and procedures of the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, the general orders, and Florida state statutes. And if we go out of that and we violate policy and procedures, then yeah, we deal with internal affairs. But if we violate state statute, then you deal with the integrity unit. So what I don't want you to leave here and think tonight that if that was a guy, your reaction would have been justified.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Because they don't tell you, you know, or you have to give me the name of the person that tells you it's okay to punch somebody multiple times that are handcuffed. Right? That
Yes.
totally goes against our policy and procedure. So like I said, if given the opportunity to do it all over, what different decisions could have been made?
Walk away.
Mm-hmm. Or how about, you know, knocking on the jail window and saying, hey, fellas, can we get a female to this back door so we can get her in here? We've already tussled with her once. We don't want to do it again. She's being belligerent. Guys, help me out. You see what I'm saying? Because our job is to deliver them to that back door and then get them on the other side of that gray door. Because once we do, then it's the correction officer's issues to deal with.
But definitely, like, they don't have enough female officers, so the wait is so long.
The interrogation of Officer Borisade serves as a crucial piece of evidence in understanding the events of that night. It reveals the pressure faced by officers, the potential for human error, and the importance of transparency and accountability in policing.
That's like another officer, and then it's my fault.
No, see, and I know sometimes these are the myths that you're told in FTO, okay? And when I tell you that, Detective Green and myself, we've been in the same predicaments, okay? So yes, you have a lot of things that we believe in police work that's not really true, like that imaginary line. You're the first person I've heard say that. Like, don't let them cross that line. Because if an officer, if somebody wants to walk across, yeah, your job is to get control and command. So we have escort positions, right? Okay, we have transport positions. Hey, get them back to that wall and say, hey, ma'am, look, real quick, you're pissed off, you're arrested. Hey, you have an opportunity to deal with it by speaking to a judge or an attorney when you get assigned one. But what happens is they escalate, and then we respond. And we can't do that outside of policy and procedures. And that's the only thing I'm trying to get you to understand. All right? Let me do this. Let me go outside and let me speak to my supervisor, okay? What questions do you have of me, Officer Borisade?
I just don't want to lose my job.
Okay. Well, do understand, Detective Green and Detective Kyan, we don't make those decisions. Our job is we investigate.
The discrepancies between the official report and the dashcam footage underscore the importance of independent oversight and the need for body cameras and dash cams to provide an objective record of police encounters.
Over our unit. And then, we put the investigating facts together, okay, the interviews we get from both parties and or any witnesses outstanding, and then we let them make the decisions. Okay? Any other questions? It's your opportunity to ask.
I mean, I don't know what to ask. It's like, I don't know.
You got a lot going through your head right now, probably. And if there's something I can help clarify for you, let me do that.
Where do I find out, like, what's going to happen?
Okay, so I'm going to go speak to my supervisor, all right? I think you spoke with Sergeant Brown of the Internal Affairs. He may want to come in and talk to you as well. But let me get out here and speak to my supervisor, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to kind of let you know what steps we take next, all right? If you got to use the bathroom, just knock on the door, okay? All right, stand by.
The case of Mayra Martinez and the interrogation of Akinyemi Borisade serve as a powerful reminder of the ongoing struggle for justice and accountability. It highlights the importance of vigilance, transparency, and the unwavering pursuit of truth. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, comment, and subscribe for more investigative content. Share this video to raise awareness about police accountability and civil rights. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.